House for rent, 5 minutes from the beach, 8 seconds if you trip. Today I learned 1 gallon, about 4 liters, of gasoline contains about 31 million calories. Human daily caloric requirement is 1,500 to 2,500 depending on the person. 1 gallon of gasoline contains enough calories to satisfy that requirement for 12,400 to 20,600 days, or about 34 to 56 years. Therefore, if I chug a gallon of gasoline, I won't need to eat for the rest of my life. Strictly speaking, you're actually correct. 20,000 bees chase car for 2 days after queen bee gets trapped in boot. I'm sorry to ask, but who counted the bees? Guy orders custom size 14.5 slipper. Company sends size 1,450 instead. That's the opposite of a problem. A new bed. Guy at the factory. Are you sure this isn't a mistake? Other workers. Why would it be a mistake? If you tried to live on iceberg lettuce alone, you would have to eat 34 heads of lettuce daily, and you would spend $17,500 annually before dying of multiple nutrient deficiencies. Why was this calculated? If Godzilla was real, he would produce 151 million gallons of urine a day. Do you know how massive this bed has to be to make Shaq look normal? That bed is the size of most rooms. 99% chance of getting 1 million. 1% chance of becoming a girl. Ding, 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 ding. Fun probability fact. If you press the button 100 times, there's roughly a 1 chance you become a girl. Fun gender fact. If you press the button 100 times, you were almost certainly a girl to begin with. An Australian man typed every number from 1 to 1 million in words, not numbers, on his typewriter. It took him 16 years. 2 collided bullets from the Battle of Gallipoli, 1915 to 16. What are the odds? This is the equivalent to winning the lottery 3 days in a row. Life hack. Avoid red lights by driving at 114 million miles per hour. This velocity will blue shift them enough to appear green. 0 out of 10. Do not recommend attempting. It costs $0 to retweet. Actually, an average retweet costs 2 kilobytes. I buy 100 gigabytes at 46.70. Hence, I need about 0.00001128208 to retweet your tweet. My 3-month son is now twice as big as he was when he was born. He's on track to weigh 7.5 trillion pounds by age 10. If you were to produce a sound louder than 1,100 decibels, you would create a black hole and destroy the galaxy. Would you rather have $30 million or 30 million loyal friends? I would choose 30 million loyal friends. Ask everyone for $5, which a loyal friend won't deny. Then I already have one. You know what I would do? I wouldn't do any of this. I would create an army and overthrow the world. The population of Scotland is around 5.25 million, and there are 600 million cats in the world. So if every cat decided to invade Scotland, each Scot would have to fight off around 114 cats. I really don't think they could pull it off. Elon Musk is now worth 200 billion. You want to know how he did it? He skipped 34 billion lattes. It's that easy. People need to learn to work hard, pull up their bootstraps and find parents that own an emerald mine, a national treasure. Over 500k farts busted in this seat. The total area of solar panels it would take to power the world, Europe, and Germany. I have a new favorite bat crazy idea. What 1900s people thought life would be like in the year 2000. Balloon-supported lake walking. How much money would someone be up if they bet LeBron over 10 points every game since 2007 and just kept putting the whole money back in each time? Wow, that is a lot of money they'd be making. Fun fact, each tree makes about 15,000 pieces of paper, and she uses a piece of paper in about 15 seconds. Meaning, since this has been going on, she has used 147.6 trees doing her homework and counting. Minimum wage would need to be $66 today to match the home buying power of boomers getting minimum wage in the 1970s. An average person eats 3 spiders a year, factoid, is actually just a statistical error. The average person eats 0 spiders per year. Spiders Gorge, who lives in a cave and eats over 10,000 each day, is an outlier and should not have been counted. Okay, there must be more than just one Spider's Gorge, whoever this person is. According to this Reddit comment, they would need to eat 23.4 billion spiders in a single year. I am developing a new sport called Huge Baseball. Kind of crazy that you just need to put 24 words in the right order, and a decentralized network allows you access to $111 billion in Bitcoin. We don't spend enough time focused on this opportunity. Well, the only thing that would be able to do this is a quantum computer. Mysterious hole found in bison bison skull, supposedly from 40,000 years ago. In their right hands, a sling can hit with the force of a 99mm bullet. I killed a spider and now I feel bad. Give birth to a spider to make up for it. Why did you say that? Okay, so it takes 9 months to make a baby human. That's about 3 kilograms. A baby spider, by contrast, weighs about 1 mg, roughly 30 million times lighter. So you could give birth to a healthy baby spider in about 8 seconds. Like, it's not a big inconvenience. 1600 calories versus 1600. Great, now do a price comparison. Walking home one night, mugger comes out of nowhere. Give me your wallet! Unload my 5.7 on him. Realize that I used 20 rounds of 5.7 28mm ammo. It would have been cheaper just to hand over my wallet. If you blended all 7.8 billion people on Earth into a fine goo, you would end up with a sphere of human goo just under 1 kilometer wide. How many birthdays are there? 365 or 7 billion? 7 billion. If this sucker were made of entirely uranium, it would supply the average American's energy demand for 84 years. After 84 years, the only waste would be the size of this sucker. It would eliminate 624 tons of greenhouse gases from equivalent coal generation. Doctor: Sir, the surgery has a 50% survival rate, but don't worry, my last 20 patients have all survived. Normal people, mathematician, scientist, teach me something interesting using one comment. If the world competed one-on-one with each other, the winner would only have to win 33 times. Jeff Bezos announces Amazon is donating $690,000 to help the country recover from the devastating bushfires. Lol, Metallica gave $750,000. And in a percentage relative to their net worth, Metallica is giving 0.09 and Bezos 0.0006. Seriously, let's say you have a badass job, a great job. You make $100 an hour. You work 10 hours a week, 1K a day, 5 days a week, 5K a week, every week, 20K a month. That's $240,000 every year. It would take you 4,100 years to make $1 billion. God damn it. In 1987, Steve Rothstein bought a lifetime American Airlines ticket for $250,000. He was flying to other countries just to eat lunch. It ended up costing the company $21 million. Bet I can guess how tall you are. Try me. 5'11" and a half, but who's counting? How do you know? The standard brick is 65 millimeters tall, plus the average mortar layer is 10 millimeters. You're 24 bricks tall. Fun statistics for adults. When I was a kid, I had no help with college tuition. I was hardworking and paid it all by myself. In 1970, the average tuition was $2K. Now, it's $45K. Well, this is in 2014. More now. The minimum wage, $1.45. 2014, $7.25. Daily hours at minimum wage needed to pay for tuition in 1970, 4.8. Now, 17.3. PS4 has no game. Wrong. There are 119 games in that stack. The height of a standard PS4 game case is 14 millimeters. Using basic math, we can determine the man in this photo is 5'4". Preventing the next pandemic will cost $22 trillion a year, scientists say, or 3% of the 2020 military budget. Good news, we have obtained the clearest ever image of a black hole. Bad news, the sun is gone. You eat 15,000 calories in a day, you get $1 billion. How do you get it done? I guess I can cut back a little if it means being a billionaire. The first Batman film was in 1960. The first reboot was in 1989. The second reboot in 2005. The third, 2016. Fourth, 2022. Which, given sufficient extrapolation, suggests that by 2050 or so, there will be a new Batman reboot every 15 microseconds. 20-year-old lottery winner turns down $1 million cash for $1,000 a week for life. This is my kind of complaint. I paid $110 for priority, and it took 8 days to get my parcel from downtown San Francisco to the ordinary box turtle cruises to the San Francisco airport, a distance of 14 miles. A turtle could have done that in 4 days. Seriously, I looked it up. An ordinary box turtle cruises 0.17 miles per hour. It could make it from the Rincon Center post office to the cargo terminal of SFO in 87 hours. The United States Postal Service took 179 hours to make the same trip. And I had to wait in line at the post office. There is no line at the turtle store. I could have popped in, bought a turtle, strapped the parcel to its shell, and it would have gotten there in less than half the time. Can I get a refund here? A partial refund? A complimentary box of turtle food? Anything. I love the research that went into this. There are about 15.7 million subscribed to this subreddit. Divided by 365 is 43,013. To about 43,000 people, happy birthday. Doesn't get any more valuable than this. One of the few cars worth more than its weight. The $70 million Ferrari GTO is $200 $190.51 per ounce. It's more expensive than gold. Scientists have successfully built logic gates by using a swarm of soldier crabs. It takes about 80 to operate a logic gate. There are 8 logic gates in a byte, so 640,000 crabs can be used to store a single tweet. You can run Doom on 16 billion crabs. Budweiser just spent $5 million on a commercial to brag about donating 100k worth of water. The odds of losing money in the stock market over any 20-year period is historically 0.01%, and yet we still perceive investing as risky. What I thought it would look like in the Eurotunnel when I was 8. An Australian guy named Bill Morgan was declared dead for 14 minutes. He somehow survived. To celebrate his survival, he bought a scratch card and won a $27,000 car. The media/news asked him to reenact the scratch card moment, so he bought another card and won a $250,000 jackpot. A recent study found that the average golfer walks about 900 miles per year. Another study found golfers drink, on average, 22 gallons of alcohol a year, which means, on average, golfers get about 41 miles to the gallon. Kind of makes you proud. $10,000 is a lot of money, right? If you made 10k every day since 1776, you still wouldn't have $1 billion today. Stop defending robber barons. When someone submits a resume today, they have the abysmally low 0.4% chance of actually getting the job. How it feels to apply for a job now. In 1986, Cleveland released 1.5 million balloons to break a world record. Then the sky turned against them, raining chaos, tragedy, and lawsuits. Devil's Tower, Wyoming, a weathered 867-foot geological formation, or ancient giant tree stump, which was slashed with a giant axe held by a giant man. If the sun was scaled down to the size of a white blood cell, the Milky Way would be the size of the continental United States. Now I like this for scale. This is cool. $10 million right now in your hand, but there's a catch. Oh, it's the snail. The snail is catching you, whatever. Are you taking the money? The internet tells me that common snails travel at up to 1 meter per hour. There are 8,760 hours in a year. Assuming the snail never stopped and a human lifespan of 100 years, the snail could travel 8.7 million meters before I die of old age anyway. Half of the equatorial circumference of the Earth is approximately 20 million meters. Take the money, fly to the other side of the planet, perhaps be careful of snails on a plane. How fast would the cubal have been going to do this? Adult deer are as tall as a bicycle. They weigh as much as 800 hamburgers. Thousands of kilograms of sweet potatoes and carrots have been dropped from the air to help feed animals impacted by the bushfires in Australia. Imagine surviving a wildfire only to get beamed by a carrot falling at 200 miles per hour. I asked Google, and apparently the terminal velocity of a carrot is 147 miles per hour. Why isn't it possible? Me, black hole to bend light. You can fill a pool with whatever you want. Money, gold, coins, anything valuable really. But you must jump into it from 10 meters, about 33 feet, and survive in order to keep what you filled it in with. What would you fill the pool up with? Whatever the rarest material is, put a bunch of it underneath, and then I'd use like a bunch of cushions. The cities in the background are approximately 16 miles apart. Where is the curve? Please explain. With the circumference of 24,901 miles, you are looking at a curvature of around 0.2 degrees, or a little more than 10 feet at 16 miles away. May I say, that curvature is still significantly higher than your IQ. Receive 60k in cash, or 600,000 in pennies. Choose wisely. 6k last time I checked the calculator, but you guys can have them pennies. Your CPU has exceeded 8,000 degrees, yet the surface of the sun is 5,500. Roses are red, roses are blue, depending on their velocity relative to you. Would you rather get $1 billion right now? Get $1 that doubles in value every day for log 1, I don't know what that means, but probably the thing on the right. A large solar-powered AI satellite constellation would be able to prevent global warming by making tiny adjustments in how much solar energy reached Earth. The waitress at Olive Garden has been grating cheese onto my plate for 13 hours now. Truck carrying ramen noodles crashes. Estimated loss to company, $38. Just think about it. If every person on Earth just recycled, stopped using plastic straws, and drove an electric car, 100 corporations would still produce 70% of global emissions. Nice car. Yeah, 400 horsepower. That's like $7,000. What? A new shape called the Scutoid has been discovered in our cells. I'm so happy I'm out of high school. Imagine having to find the area of a damn Scutoid. Make deal with Demon to get a bunch of gold. Use gold to fund filtering salt out of entire ocean. Use remaining funds to launch salt into orbit. Salt forms ring around the Earth. When Demon comes back to mess you up, it can't get past the salt circle. Big explosion. Really thick steel. 1 millimeter gap. Watermelon got cut. Yeah, because of pressure. I did my math right. Those starting block speakers made a difference last night. Without Without them, Lilas would have been at a disadvantage of 0.008 seconds. How long the sound of the pistol takes to travel from lane 4, Thompson, to lane 7, Lilas. He won by 0.005. Taco Bell menu is like, okay, we have exactly 9 ingredients. Which one of these 38 ways do you want them to be presented to you? What if we used 100% of the brain? Well, we could make stuff like this, right? That'd be fun. That's a start. What's a stat that sounds fake but is 100% true? Every time you shuffle a deck of cards, it's the first time they've ever been shuffled in that order. Explode. Not if. You should build a big river across America so you can go across it by boat. Can someone explain to me how this would be physically possible? Shovel. Damn, how far is your stop? 2013 to 2019. How have you lived on a train for that long? How do you eat? How do you sleep? How do you work? Would you rather take $15 for every poop you've taken, or $25 for every poop you will take starting now? Every poop I've taken. Biggest indicator of US decline. You could buy 6 Big Macs with 1 hour of minimum wage in 1980. But today, you can't even buy 1. Your average pineapple peeled and cut makes about 4.5 cups, or 36 ounces of pineapple chunks. Cans of pineapple come in a variety of sizes, the most common being 20 or 46 ounces, meaning a single pineapple generally won't fill up a single can perfectly, which also means every time you eat a pineapple from a can somewhere, someone else has the can that has the rest of that same pineapple, meaning you can share a single fruit with a stranger from hundreds of miles away, and I think that's beautiful. How much sleep are you getting? Not enough, my guy. There are allegedly around 6.5 million Finns, right? That's about 7.1 billion humans. That means Finns make up 0.912% of the planet. That's not 9%, that's 0.09%. Less than 0.1%. To put that another way, 99.9% of the population are not Finns. How do we know this? Government censuses. Now, the best government censuses have a margin of error of at least 1%, so Finns make up 0.912% of the planet, plus or minus 1%. In conclusion, there is a 50-50 chance Finland doesn't exist. How to make your child a millionaire. Invest $1,200 in an S&P index fund at their birth. Contribute $90 every month until they turn 21. By age 21, they'll have around 100k invested. Let it compound untouched. By age 50, that amount could grow to 2.8 million. What the hell did we learn y equals mx plus b for? Let's say you pay $10 to get in the club, and each drink that night is $5, and you only got $50 for the night. The equation would be 50 equals $5 times $5x plus 10. In this situation, you solve for x, and that's the number of drinks you can have. I will eat 1 tablespoon of mayonnaise for every like on this video. If you don't follow through with this, you will be hearing from my lawyer. 308,000. You might die. Which will require the least amount of force to push? Ice, gravel, ice. You know what's even crazier? They're giving Ellen, when Ellen gave Bill Gates 20k. Given that Bill Gates is worth 105 billion, 20k is 0.00002% of his net worth. An Olympic pool is 2.5 million liters of water, and a plastic bottle is 500 milliliters, which is equivalent of the same amount of percentage. Owen Wilson has made around $217 million from his movies. He averages around 3,500 words per movie in 47 movies. That's about $1,324 per word. Wow was 102 of those words. Owen has made roughly 135,000 from saying wow. Good night, Twitter. That's a wow. This is quite a large ranch you have. 7.9 billion acres. We own the West Hemisphere. You're alone in a room with $1 billion coins scattered everywhere on the floor. The rules. You can keep any of the coins you pick up. Once your hands leave the room, you're done. No going back in. You can't put coins back down and pick them up again. You may bring a tool, but it must be 10 centimeters or less. 1 billion coins? You can keep any coin you... Well, yeah, I don't know actually. I don't know. I actually don't have a good answer for this. Maybe glue, but wait a second. What exactly is the message being conveyed here? Feel free to sabotage the product for the sake of making your own job easier. This worker just removed 47.64% of the material from the object he was assigned to transport. If one of his co-workers did the same and make a smaller cube, he'd move faster too and probably get fired for it. If the worker is going to carve up his cube, why not carve a cylinder? It would just be as mobile as a sphere, but he would only have to remove 21.46% of the material, and it would require less work to carve. While we're on the subject though, how quickly did this worker carve a sphere out of a cube? Evidently, he didn't lose much headway. And did he do it with that little penknife? Seriously? Do you know how difficult it is to carve a perfect sphere from a cube? That's some Ron Swanson stuff right there. If the ultimate goal was to deliver a whole cube, then the worker has already failed. If the goal was to deliver as much of the material as quickly as possible, then he should have cut 4 edges off the cube, removing only 17%. An octagonal prism rolls just fine, with less material and time wasted. But for all we know, when the workers arrive at their destination, they may be required to stack the objects. In this case, our so-called intelligent worker has delivered an object that won't stack. Bravo, intelligent worker, bravo. Oh, and it should read, work intelligently. Don't work hard, work intelligent.